Welcome back, folks. Today we're doing the video today we're doing a tutorial in Minecraft of just a lot of redstone. But what this is it's a wave counter. So this is wave 0, as you can see. But if I were to say where's the input? I think this is the input here. Yeah, that's wave 1. If I were to hit it again, it goes to wave 2, and then wave 3, but it stays in there. And of course, this is just a timer. This is complicated, I'm not going to explain that. I know, I might, if I have time. But of course, I'm camping. So, what you first need to start off with. This is a map that I never actually finished. I'm probably just going to finish it now. Now the fact that I know how to do, I gotta finish it off. So you need something called a pulse limiter. It used to be used for like 2 ticks like that. Then you say power it. Oh. To do that, but for some reason it does not work. It may be just the mods that I have installed, but it doesn't seem to want to work for me. So I used to do that for 1 tick, but if you say do this, it's a bit longer. What it does is say you input this, it stays inputted, but it only goes on and off once, and then you have to remove the input and replace it again. So we'll just keep this in. So how to build that is just, so just 2 blocks like this, a repeater facing one direction, and a torch at the end there. A repeater on full ticks, one going off the input block like this, can be either side, and then it goes around like that to turn off this torch. And what happens is this torch turns off after 1 tick of input, so it allows this torch to turn on, and then after 4 ticks of the input, so it stays on for 3 ticks, it powers this again and turns off the torch. So what you have to do next is build the RS-NOR latches. And what RS-NOR latch is, it's probably going to benefit me a lot to actually keep myself a button. So this is probably the most common RS-NOR latch you can find. So when you click this, does that, click this. So what it basically says is, it's 1 bit of information is either true or false. Fairly simple, but one that I've used several times for just different projects, because that one takes 2 blocks tall. I don't know why I just did it just with my hand. This only takes 1 block tall, and you can have them like, you can have them looking like this, and none of them will interfere with each other, which is why I like them. And also, if you're wondering why things aren't dropping, is I turned off tile drops, I think it's called. But so what I needed to do this is because I didn't want to just have a bunch of RS-NOR latches, because they take up a lot more space. I created a vertical one. I'm definitely not the first one to do this. Seth Blink's done it, and Venom's done it. I know several other people have done it too. So what you do is this is what one looks like. So you start off with a block, put a redstone torch on top of this, and put a block on top of that. You go off 1 to any direction, I guess, and then 1 down like this. So there's 1 gap here. Place 2 things like that. 2 redstones there. Put this torch on, and now it's built. So we essentially need to build a bunch of those. I'm going to make a 4-wave system. There. Now, so I'll place down a block, torch on top, that on top, the one out. So, place these down. Oh, no. That's not what you do. I can place down these. And then the redstone dust goes across top. And building these. I remember I built a bunch of redstone cannons that fired side by side. It took like probably about 15 minutes to half an hour to build just a bunch of cannons that worked side by side. And I also had to modify the design because I had to get them to all fire at the exact same time. So there's a bit of a problem with that. But, you know. So now, you think, yay, it's done. Well, far from it. Well, actually not too far from it. But it's not done. So you need, what will happen if you say trigger it, these will swap. So they'll go from, is this will turn off this torch, and allow this torch to turn on and lock this one off. So if you just hit that button, or hit a button here, what it would do is it would just go whoop and go completely across. So we need to prevent that from happening. So if you build a bridge between them like this, add that dust there. Add one repeater like this, and then 2 repeaters. So those bridges contain this. What this is, it's a pulse lengthener. You apply those out further. What that means is this pulse is shorter than 8 ticks. Which that means if this shuts off, this won't shut off for another 8 ticks. And because the power will turn back on, and it will trigger this again, it will stay on, and then these will both turn off or turn on, and go back to normal. So now if I were to say, do this, there, see? So 1 wave complete, 2 waves complete. You can also see like the input, like the outputs are here. And then all 4 waves complete. But how do you say, I'm gonna make a reference, well, kind of make it sure something like a survival map, say, I think what it's called now. I don't know, it's failing me, but whatever. Say like a zombie survival map, so you want waves and waves of, or say like a mob arena. So you want to have waves and waves of monsters coming. And you don't want people to start like 2 waves at once. Like, I guess it would be like their fault, and it would just be harder for them. It probably wouldn't break the system, but it might, depending on how you have your timer system set up. So what you gotta do is you have a timer set up that will say go for 5 minutes, whatever. Or say, well, this is now not the best system. If I were to make an arsenal launch right here, oh. And again, I'm going to go with this design because it's just more convenient in the current position. Actually, no, that's not the correct position for it to be in. It is supposed to be like this. It's just supposed to be, the RS Snorlax is supposed to be back here. So at this point, I might as well just do this RS Snorlax. The redstone was just broken there. And the torch was just broken there. Might as well put a button here. Also, the advantage of this system is it's very easy to reset. You just have a button there and it just resets the entire thing. Now, up in here is, I've had a timer here. Let's actually go this direction. Make this full. There. So what will happen if I say start? It's now stuck on start. It's on one wave and I have to wait for it to reset. There. Now I can. Wave still won't work for a second there. So you just gotta kind of keep in mind of that. But this is not the best clock, of course. So there. Second wave done. I have to wait for that. And then done. And of course, the next wave. Voila. And then all 4 waves are done. So that's how to build that. And I might as well go kind of into a bit of depth into how this works. But so this is going into a pulse. So when a round finishes, it goes into a pulse limiter. Quits this. Goes into this. Powers this. And it also goes through into this. So those just 2 things which I don't reveal. So this work gets complicated. When it goes, does it go off to the left? It also goes straight. So when it goes straight, goes through to here, goes through this block here, and meanwhile this is shutting off, like this line is all shutting off, so it goes through here, flips this RS Snorlax, and this turns off after however many ticks, but the pulse has just made it through, so then it goes all the way through, tries to go there, but there's nothing there, tries to go there, there's nothing there, tries to go there, nothing there, so it just goes off to the left here. And then from here, goes off straight and here. And of course, before, it wouldn't have been able to go through here, but now there's a block that's pushed out here. It goes in this, around all over the place, back to here, and resets this RS Snorlax, of course, to this state. But by the time the redstone pulse has already tried to make it into this block and died out before this is pushed out, and then this also just goes back to here and resets it. Now that's how that works. I just threw it on the ground there, and then if say a second wave is triggered, or say because the first 4 waves can be one time, next 4 waves can be one time, or each wave can be its own individual time. I wouldn't recommend that if you're going for like 16 waves or whatever, because that would be a lot more system. Because there's 3 of these here. There would have to be 16 of them if each wave was a different time. Mind you, if it was chances are this might be a bit shorter or a bit smaller, sorry. Actually, there'd be 15 of them. Of these things. Probably. So what happens if, say, this is triggered. So it comes from the wave over here. It happens if, say, so this is the second set of waves. Goes into this, and puts a pulse into here, so it goes along there, and also triggers down this line here. Or here, sorry. What this does is it flips this RS NOR latch. So that would go into there, but I'll explain that later. So it flips this and pushes out a piston here. And that's it. What happens when it goes along, the redstone will now go into here. And after it ticks, it will delay. It'll reset that again, so this will go back in. And go up here. And reset this thing here. Which will make it so the redstone pulse will continue through and do one more lap. And then it'll be reset to this position, and it will be fine. That'll be one lap. Then this is very similar. It goes through, but it also triggers this. So after it goes through another lap, it now sets this out and retracts that and comes back around, does whatever that does, which you know I just explained it. And this one does essentially this one, but this now, when this is done, it pushes at this and retracts it. When this is done, it retracts and pushes that out. And when this is done, it just retracts and goes back into there and resets the machine. And of course, if you want to say hook this up to a mob spawner, you need to SMC edit to make the mob spawner probably. But also, I'm not sure when it was added, but it still may actually be my mods too, though, so we'll have to make sure that works. But if you apply redstone on top of a spawner, it'll stop it from spawning. But it very well may be one of my mods that does that. But that's it for today. See you next time, folks. Bye.